So in the early noughties, probably about 03, I got a digital 4-track, and it was this new toy. And I had a ton of songs which I'd been farting around with on the 4-track and mixing and experimenting with and sitting up late at night recording. Very different from Screen Feeder. Like, I could have forced them into that angle, but I just kept them back. So I thought, I'm going to record a solo album.
Seems like we're traveling parallel. We didn't align too well. I don't think we're moving a mountain anymore.
And spent at least a year or so recording in various places and putting an album together. Eventually put it out, and it was actually quite lush and layered kind of album, like lots going on. And then as soon as it was out, I was like, shit, I need a band to play this stuff.
Hey Dan.
Yes.
Just want to do one more of that at the very end.
Sure.
Just get that really tight all together, that build.
Yes.
Alright, here we go.
I got this email out of the blue one day saying I'm putting together a solo band. Would you be interested in playing drums? I sort of had to think about it for about 3 seconds and just straight back, yeah.
I can remember when we first met.
Him and me were the first ones really in the band. We sort of put the songs together ourselves, and I don't think I'd choose ever to be in a band with someone I didn't get along with, or didn't like, or they didn't like me. It would be pointless, because like, there's enough stress in life without, the band should be somewhere you can go and have a sense of peace and achievement and creativeness, If someone's into it and they're a nice person, they're in my band.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Might be a few dog barks in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, that'll be right.
It'll be right.
You say that you own me, but you don't. Nobody owns me, and they won't.
Tim did his solo album and put a call out for musicians to be able to perform it live. And I drafted the email, and then it just sat in my outbox for months and months. And then one night I had a bit of Dutch courage and I pressed send, and Tim got straight back to me. And I just remember walking down one of the streets in Red Hill with my flute in my hand, and just like really nauseous, really nervous.
Nobody knows me, nobody knows me.
I remember Skye came around to my house, and poor thing, she was really nervous. I don't know why, but like she just was. And we sat down at the kitchen table and had a little sing, and she'd learnt a couple of my songs, and she was great, but like super like restrained and soft. And I was kind of like, I've never had to restrain myself ever. I've always been because that's the environment I've had. And I was like, can you sort of bring it up a little? And eventually got a little more confident, and I could kind of tell that she was someone who was super musically intuitive, and I gave her a try long enough for her to, become essential.
Can I just do those two last lines again?
Yeah.
Because do you think like, hard?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, here we go.
That's awesome, that spot. It's like,
Oh.
yeah, it's great.
Tim brought Skye over to introduce her to me, and then the chemistry and the vibe felt pretty good. And then I think actually we were at where Bryce's studio used to be at Bowen Hills at Zero Interference. That's where we used to practice. Yeah, and it was just straight away was like click. Yeah. And then in time, Skye has developed and evolved into the leading other half of the spearhead of the band. So yeah, so Skye's input to the band now is, what am I trying to name it, is invaluable. And yeah, without Skye, it's not what I wanted.
There will be nights with no sign of morning and no sunset. We will make it, but if we see lights, we should walk towards them. If there's a chance that, yeah, we should take it. There will be nights with no sign of morning and no sunset. We will make it, but if we see lights, we should walk towards them. If there's a chance that we should take it.
It was a really magical, exciting time. I think it might have even been a bit of a surprise to Tim, just going, actually, this could be its own thing, like it could be its own band.
As soon as we got new songs, it was like, oh, great. And it made the solo album material sound really boring and like very like you're a robot playing someone else's stuff, even for me. We just started being a young band, like even though we're older people, we started at the beginning.
I put my gloves on and walked outside. It was good to feel my fingertips warm. The sky was totally white. It felt like drinking liquid light. It felt like touching electricity.
And then eventually down the track, once we actually got material together to record with Derek at the Shed for that first EP, that was when we thought we probably need to call it something.
We deliberated for such a long time, and they were just, none of them were particularly good. I think someone wanted to call it Moxie, and that's a brand of tampon.
It was difficult actually, band names are super hard. Like we were out at dinner one night in New Farm, my daughter was there, and it was one of those sort of weird conversations where someone says something and someone across the table doesn't hear them. And I think Pascal, my daughter, said, "What's that? We all want to." And I looked around and went, there's the band name we've been searching for like 6 months.
You drove away too fast. You drove away too fast.
The lineup changed heaps. So like one person would have to leave town and we fish around for someone else. We get a new bass player and then the guitarist left town and we got the bass player's brother as the guitarist. So that's Ben and Josh. And it, luckily for us, every time we changed, it felt like a little upgrade. So we got the new guys in and we're like, actually, this sounds better. And it wasn't us, it was them. It was them bringing their skills in and their take. And we were really lucky. We got great people all the way along. And we got Derek in the band, we got Mel in the band. That was another complete different feeling band. That lineup lasted a couple of years. We had a shake up. We went on to the current lineup of Scott and Arron. And again, it's an upgrade. They're both awesome band members and just mega dedicated, cool, good musicians, interesting guys with the right history of what they've grown up on. They get me, I get them. You know what I mean? There's barely ever any point where we go, no, it shouldn't be like that. You know, it never happens.
I actually auditioned to be in Wheel 1 2 twice, and the first time I didn't get it. So back in 2012 or 13, I think they were doing a reshuffle and they were looking for a bass player. And I wasn't even a bass player. I was in a previous band called the Better Mousetrap Treatment and I was a guitarist in that, but I played bass on one song just because of switch-arounds that needed to happen. So I just thought, that's the thing I could do, sure. I played bass on one song, why don't I try out to be a bass player with Tim Stewart's band? Sure. And I clearly was not ready for that and they went with someone else. But Tim did then recommend me to a friend of his, Chris Hetherington, who's near the bass player for his band, the Slow Push. So I actually got into the Slow Push because I auditioned first for We All Want To. And then the opportunity came up again for a bass position in We All Want To. And I wasn't going to. I was like, oh, well, they didn't want me the first time. But it was actually encouragement of my girlfriend at the time. She was like, no, you should go for it. So I went for it and got in this time. And I've been there ever since.
They'd just done the album The Haze, and I think they were just about to tour it, or they'd had a tour booked, and they were needing a guitar player and a bass player. So yeah, I just rocked up to, had to listen to a couple of songs and learnt them, and then rocked up and did a rehearsal, and then I went out and bought a set of earplugs after that, because it was fucking loud. That was, particularly that album, The Haze, has a lot of early 90s kind of guitar tone language in it. It's a very heavy sounding kind of album. And it's a beautiful album to listen to on headphones. Derek did an amazing job with all the guitar sounds on that. But I remember listening to it and then just having a particular picture in my mind of like, oh, okay, this is what it's like. So I'll just add this pedal and put this on, and the pedal board got bigger and bigger. And it was like that for a while, but actually subsequently since then, it's actually become much less so. And I think the true core of the band is became sort of more focused as to what I actually thought it was. So I kind of always knew it was about Tim and Skye, but the quieter that we got, the more space it gave for those guys. It was always there, I guess, but I suddenly heard it completely differently.
Do we do the little thing? Maybe we don't. Or maybe you do and I don't. Because that sounded good. Like, no, on the third line.
Yeah, I reckon.
So the first one I'm doing it straight, but you can do whatever. Second one I'm just going, nothing's changed, nothing's changed.
And then can we do one on this one, maybe the change together?
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
She's so sad, she's so sad, she's so sad, she's so sad, she's so sad.
High five. There's a creative chemistry, but it's also, we've been singing together for such a long time, sort of understand how each other works, and we've tried lots of different things. When I first came in, it was just figuring out some little bits to his songs, and then that gradually sort of segued into a bit of co-writing. He's always really supportive and encouraging, bringing a couple of my songs into the mix to sort of give it a bit of balance.
Music is essentially just a mathematical thing. It's just science. It's just numbers working together, but it's also not, because that's the thing about what it is about two people who just have something in sync, and something about the way their voices blend, something about both of their kind of creative takes on songs and things like that. They just kind of match each other. And you can't really define what essentially that is. But that's that nice little mystery.
You got it there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Because I can meet on me.
Yes, no,
Stay there.
it's perfect.
All
It's
right.
really good.
Can I do that again now that I know it's kosher, and I'll just make it a bit smoother?
Keep that, that's key, I reckon.
The echoes thin, nobody knows me, nobody knows me. The echoes in, nobody knows me, nobody knows me.
Alright, that's it.
Cool.
As We All Want To goes on, it becomes more about the people and us five having music in our lives than anything. So it's about like 5 people have taken time off work and they're all up here for a couple of days, and we're all just chilling, having coffee, playing some music, and we'll never look back on this and think, oh shit, we didn't get that song on the radio. we'll always look back and think, that was a nice couple of days up the coast.
It has a momentum that is invigorating. Just that realisation that I'm in a pretty good band and it's a really nice band to be in.
I'm almost at the point where I would call myself a bass player now, and this is the most professional band I've ever been in, and it's like a big creative love in.
I was always really happy to play in this band because it ticked those boxes for me personally, those creative boxes, and it feels like a kind of camaraderie of that.
This stuff's sort of really precise, and I love that. And all that's really riding on it is the songs themselves. Like, it's a wonderful thing to have in your life.
I used to wake and make a fist. I used to cry for violence.
I used to wake and make a fist. Now I cry for silence. I needed a quiet place. I wanted to sleep and fish. I needed a quiet place. I burned the book, I got my wish. I needed a quiet place. I wanted to sleep and fish. I needed a quiet place. I burned the book, I got my wish.
Honestly, I can't see any reason why we'd ever stop doing things like this. Like come here, record, do some gigs in Brizzy or whatever. It's just an outlet for us. It's just fun. It's just a nice thing to do in your life, you know.
At the end of it all, it's this legacy, I think, what this band will have. I've always kind of maintained, this band was never going to be famous. This band was never going to be... This is going to be a band that someone will discover in 30 years' time, when we're probably no longer alive. And they'll dig up the catalogue and go, what? Who was this band? And I think that's when our fame will come.
Maybe it would have to be that, like, after the Trump war, like maybe the Spotify server, only the W's will be left, so they'll be the only ones you find. So maybe just by benefit of starting with W, you'll be one of the only ones left.
Well, I'll pass my daughter when I die the freaking balance sheet of where we all want she's up to, and I'll say, if you can get that to zero, you're doing better than I did, dude.
It's the first night all alone since I can remember. It's the first night and I cry right into the embers. I dig a hole to steam my catch. It's what I get for being braver. I dig a hole to steam my catch. A small grave could be my savior. I burn the book, the wood's too wet to make her find my prayers are answered. I burn the book, the wood's too wet to make her find my prayers are answered. I burn the book, the wood's too wet to make her find my prayers are answered. I burn the book, the wood's too wet to make her find my prayers are answered. All I can hear are the birds and the ocean talking. All I can hear is the wind in casuarinas. You say that you own me, but you don't. Nobody owns me, and they won't. Like when the pictures you did at all don't reveal themselves anymore. Don't say that you own me, 'cause you don't. Nobody knows me, and they won't. Like all the words you held as yours don't mean anything anymore. safe, she's so safe, she's so safe. I bet she'll never break your heart. She won't take it apart anymore.